It looks a lot like there's been an atomic bomb happening up here. I call this refit the whole and heart of Leeuwin. Welcome to AMC. We are the Seaready Maritime Maintenance Solutions yacht, where Leeuwin has been for already 100 days, where she's carrying on all the refit maintenance. At the moment, we're concentrating mostly on engineering aspects and preservation. There's been a long time where some cabinets haven't been moved and some toilets to be inspected. So there is a couple nice surprises in there for us. These guys are Seaready, focused mostly on that maintenance that is unseen, right? Is all the stuff that is hidden underneath the seats, underneath the cork floorings, in the machinery spaces. And yeah, so come for a look and show you more. What you see now, Leeuwin is sitting on a cradle. So the cradle is, the components of the cradle are steel beams and the cans. The steel beams is actually what holds the weight of Leeuwin. The cans are there to make sure Leeuwin doesn't go to either side. Leeuwin is a 40-year-old vessel that it needed some very heavy maintenance, and the satisfaction of being here and being able to combine the factors of meeting people who do great stuff with me as well, learning all these new aspects of Leeuwin has been a great experience. It's been a learning journey. I am very excited to get it back in the water and to see us sailing again, absolutely. I had to swap the shorts and the short sleeves for long trousers and long sleeves, high vis, hard hat, which it's been great. You know, this refit has given me a great opportunity to meet people. They do exactly the same as us. You know, it's the passion for vessels, for ships, the passion for the ocean, and making sure that all the vessels that come through here, they return to the water in a way better condition than they were when they first came out. Obviously, you can see the stern of the vessel. All the components for propulsion and steering are out at the moment, except for your rudder. The rudder was fitted back in perhaps 3 weeks ago. We're still there to fit prop shaft and props. We're waiting a little while. As you can see, we have some hull openings. That access provided us with the opportunity to be able to access just underneath the captain's cabin. Underneath the captain's cabin, it's a black water tank that needed a bit of a TLC. Through there, we managed to decommission the tank. We took it out and in with a new tank went in just a couple of days ago. And we're hoping that before we move into the encapsulation area behind us, we will be able to close all the hull access and then obviously get ready for preservation. The wide means that perhaps a NDT technician, so a non-destructive testing technician, has gone and inspected the integrity of that weld. Obviously, the last thing we want is going back in the water and having a little bit of dribble of water in there, right? So that was the access for our engine room. It provided the preservation crew to go in with the blast equipment and obviously remove all the paint, remove all that oil and grease that was sitting in the compartment, give it a good clean, and then obviously go with a fresh coat of paint. She looks Miko, so happy days. And this is all to make life and work a little bit easier, right? We want the crew to be able to access the vessel in a safe way, but we also want machinery, cables, and everything to go in a safe manner. So whatever holes you see around there is mostly to protect Leeuwin, to protect the crew, and obviously the machinery that we're using to carry out the works. Right here, this is the entrance to our main hold, which is just underneath our galley. The guys are currently preparing to install a new seawater intake or a sea chest. We figure out that in the last probably few years of Leeuwin, there's always been a component of the engineering that hasn't been redefined in terms of seawater intake for the equipment that we have on board. This year, and we have decided to renew a lot of plant equipment. We have a new HVAC system, we have a new refrigeration system. Everything is seawater cooled. So therefore, a lot of this machinery required a large volume of raw water. Therefore, we're building a sea chest, which is pretty much a box fully open to the ocean that allows water to come through into sort of valves and strainers and pumps, and obviously supply that to the rest of the machinery space. This is also part of our main hull. You see 3 different hull penetrations here, and these burn marks are a testament of the hard work we've done this year, part of the engineering side. So I'll start with the top bit. The top access, it was simply a hatch to actually get access into that main hold. The 2 bottom axes were plate replacement. Leeuwin has a fixed concrete ballast at the very bottom, which creates moisture, holds the moisture in. Therefore, we found a lot of rust and thinning of that plate just in the corner where that concrete meets the hull. So following the advice of naval architects, we have replaced those areas with new plate. And yeah, as you can see, obviously all white, ready to go. It's been NDT'd, so it's been commissioned, and now the vessel can go back in the water safely. Yeah, it's part of a future proof of Leeuwin, making sure that we're not just doing the doing for the next 3 or 5 years, but for at least another 10 or 15 years. A lot of the wish list items were ticked off, and certainly the wing water tanks, it was one of them. So yeah, construction is complete now. The water tanks have been internally painted now, so with a special kind of paint, obviously to provide that food grade safety. And now they have to rest for at least 9 days. They ventilate, mechanically ventilated, and then they'll be good to go. So it's a good milestone. It was probably the largest milestone during the refit, and we managed to complete it on time and on budget as well. So yeah, very, very stoked with that. You can see part of our rig has been removed. So bobstay and the G-boom flange have been removed. You can see that on top of the chain is the G-boom flange. All that is going for preservation. It will be painted and refitted. Yeah, and just hopefully everything start looking a little bit like it was a year ago. Lioness head went out for a bit of a TLC, much needed. So she's been sandblasted, she's been primed and painted on that beautiful cream color. And we are hoping that with our volunteer community, we're just gonna gather up and start putting those details, you know, the red tongue and the beautiful eyes, and then make it look like she's actually enjoying being in the water again. Previously, Leeuwin had a raw water intake from that little half circle that you can see up there. Engineering wise, it was creating a bit of a headache. What happens is when the vessel goes on attack or it goes in an angle, that particular side, it was coping a lot of that whitewash of the ocean, and it was getting a lot of air. Air inside of a water system obviously create a problem mechanically. So considering that we were putting new equipment, considering that we had the opportunity to do it, we decided to go for a lower sea chest, as you can see. It's a little bit bigger, and to make the engineer's life a little bit easier, the grid and the plate that is going to be welded back in there is going to be on hinges. So every time that someone needs to go and clean it, we can open up, go for a clean. The divers can go in there safely without the risk of that heavy plate falling down to the bottom of the ocean, right? So that's what the boys are doing currently. The cardio that we have to do every day four floors up. We are on the main deck of Leeuwin. It looks a lot like there's been an atomic bomb happening up here. The beautiful thing is we make sure to remove every box and every element from deck so the preservation works can happen. Biggest challenge up here has been the weather. Being in the harsh sun in winter, it's great for Leeuwin because it protects it from being a berth, but also has been a challenge because not much can happen in the outside. So we have been blessed with a couple of days here and there of sun. Today is one of them, and we try to make the best out of them. So if we keep moving forward, you're going to see all around preservation. A bit of rust is still in there. All the tow rails and all the areas where the painters have already started, which is great because once we start installing the mast, we will be able to run all the stays and all the rigging that will be able to hold them in place. Obviously, we got the foremast, we got the main mast, and we got the mizzen mast. We're hoping to install a jib boom first. Jib boom will provide that extra support to have a foremast in place. It's a complicated process. There's going to be a lift study and a lift plan made up for it. Obviously, the foremast is about 24 meters long. It will require 2 cranes to bring it up. And at the same time, once the mast goes in position, there will be an internal sleeve that the fabricators are using to guide the mast into the existing tube that goes down to the keel of the vessel, which at the very bottom is called the mast steps. Yeah, so we'll do the foremast first. We'll then move into the main mast, and then we'll go into the mizzen. Once the lower steel mast are in place, we're hoping to proceed with topmast, which is the timber components that Robin Hicks is carrying on at his workshop. So right now we're in the main saloon of Leeuwin. As you can see, it doesn't look like anything like it used to be. We have removed the entire marine decking of the floor to allow the heat penetration of the water tanks. So the water tanks are pretty much right underneath where I'm standing right now. So there was 2 tanks. The main mast was in the starboard one, and we have proceeded to remove them and move into the wings. So what you can see perhaps on this side is all this grey that you see here. So this big square here, it used to be the access to a main hold. All these lines that you see in here, it's all the heat transfusion that came through the welding that we had to do to build the water tanks. Obviously, all these components, the steel, the fairing compound, are very susceptible to that heat. Once they start heating up from below, they start burning through. So what we've done is we clean it all up, and then we have templated the floor. The marine fit outs WA guys are going to come in, going to fairing all up, so they're going to level the floor or the deck, and yeah, make sure that the new marine decking looks very good. We'll probably hold back on doing that until the very end to avoid all the dusty boots coming through there, and making sure that the trainees enjoy a nice polished marine decking. You know, one of the beautiful things about the main saloon in Leeuwin is being able to see our main mast. As I said before, the mast doesn't stop at deck level. The mast goes all the way down through the twin deck, where we are right now, and then go through the main hold machinery space, down straight into the keel. It's embedded into the keel, and there is a concrete on the top and lead ingots holding it in place. So everything's welded in there. The concrete holds it in place, and it's a great feature. Every time someone comes in, they don't realize the mast actually go all the way down to the bottom of the vessel. It's a great feature. and we're very happy that there wasn't any transmission of the damage that the mast suffer at deck level down to the bottom of the keel. So very stoked with that. We're hoping to preserve all this beautiful timber that's been covering the main mast, which is going to need a bit of a clean. Now we are at the forward accommodation on Leeuwin, the trainee cabins. We got cabin 1 and cabin 2. We didn't find any damage in here, which is great news. But it's giving us the opportunity to bring the accommodation and give it a little revamp, make it a little bit nicer, touch up all the marks on the walls, and making sure that once the trainees come back in, they're able to enjoy it as they should. Just behind you, we have refurbished toilets and showers. We've got brand new flooring. We're currently in the process of overhauling all the drains. We have a lot of volunteers who then went through a cadetship, who then became crew, and now they are maritime professionals. You know, we got very well qualified captains and engineers, and Leeuwin was the preschool for them. You know, so it's not just about taking 40 kids out to sea and then just teach them those soft skills and hard skills of sailing. It's also provides an opportunity for future purpose, and that's something that we really need to pay attention, because that's what the foundation is made for. You know, that future purpose is what we're allowing the kids to forge into themselves. So yeah, that's what we're doing this for, right? That's exactly right. It's making sure that it's comfortable, but not too comfortable either. You know, the idea is to step outside of that bubble, step outside of that comfort zone, making sure that your interpersonal skills are developed. And that happens when you have to share a cabin with 6 people. You know, that happens when you have to share bathrooms and toilets with another probably 20 people, right? So yeah, that's what Leeuwin is about, is to create that camaraderie and put you outside of that comfort zone. So keep exploring. Bit of mess around. Obviously there is spare parts, tools, and different components everywhere. But most important, a deer galley. You know, there is one way that you can make a voyage go really well. It's by having a comfortable chef on board. You know, if the chef is comfortable, he's going to prepare you a good meal, and a warm meal before going into your night watch. It definitely sets you up for a really good nighttime operation. You can see on the floor as well, all the fire integrity of the galley has been renewed. We have changed a lot of the isolation and the rock wall that it was on these panels. Safety has been always our priority, and we're making sure that we prevail with that for future. You know, the crew needs that, and the kids also need it. So now we're stepping into what's called the crew accommodation, or the aft accommodation, and obviously part of the refit has been to open up all these spaces and understand what's laying underneath the floors, underneath the toilets. We found heavy rust, a lot of rust everywhere, and look, the best thing about it is that we have been able to replace it all. This year, we made sure that we've removed the engines. 60-ton crane came in, and we managed to pull both main engines and both generators out. They went to mechanic workshop. They got a good service. They got a complete overview of what's going on in there. What we are trying to achieve before going in the water is we're going to plumb in water into the engines. The water will help us to run the engines and commissioning them before getting in the water. And perhaps that allows us as well a little bit of extra time to make sure that all systems are top notch before we take that little voyage up to Fremantle, back to our home. I call this refit the whole and heart of Leeuwin. We have a lot to speak about, and we have done a lot, but you won't be able to see too much. because everything is underlying. Everything is under the floors or in machinery spaces. So when people come back on Leeuwin, they might see a Leeuwin as it was, but it's actually the bones of Leeuwin that have taken a good love on this refit.